Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fridays with Sue and Steph. Trying to do that hair thing, but not working well.
Yeah, this is the problem with this whole Zoom COVID. Seeing ourselves.
The only problem with this whole COVID is our hair.
I'm going to go with the biggest problem.
Anyway, so I didn't think about what today was. Oh, well, Sunday is Juneteenth, so that's a big date, and one I had never heard of until George Floyd's murder. And then all of a sudden, it was a lot of people talking about Juneteenth, and I didn't know what it was. And I actually interviewed Kristen Carruthers, Dr. Kristen Carruthers, about it. And so I think it'll be in our newsletter this weekend. If anybody wants to see it, it's sign up at yourteenmag.com. Back here, I'll put it in the chat. And then do you have anything to recommend?
Oh, this comes upon me so quickly. I never think of it. I'm like, I haven't adjusted to the new norm of it.
So maybe someone listening can help us out. Is there anything to recommend this week? I did spices one week, and last week, I can't remember what you did last week. I loved the Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has a ton of spices. Oh my God.
Oh, I do have a recipe.
Okay, tell us in 1 second, but I just, because I'm older, I'll forget this. So someone just wrote an article that'll probably come out next week about how to annoy your kids. And it's so funny. I didn't get most of them because I never, ever get the thing we're talking about today, those expressions that you don't get. But one of the things is put the before everything. Like, do you like the Google? Do you know how to use the Google?
We do it all the time with our kids. We call it, we mix them up. We'll go, are you on the Snapgram? All the time. The Twitter chat. Oh yeah. It's fantastic.
Okay. What's your recommendation?
Okay. So in our house, I'm typically the one cooking dinner. Not most of the time. Yeah, whatever. Okay. But Todd is always the grill master. Okay. I don't go near the grill. Just not my thing, mainly because I'm doing things right all at once. It's a whole other thing. So the other night he was on a meeting, and I picked up some chicken, and he's a really good griller of chicken. I'm like, oh, let me see if I can find a new recipe. So I did a basic recipe that we always do, but there was a secret ingredient that I would have never thought to put in, and it put such a nice finish. So we did we all love a little bit of lime. So lime juice, salt, pepper, oil, garlic. I would say that's always really good. But the secret ingredient was 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. And what the brown sugar does is it gives it almost like a caramelized finish.
Yeah, sounds delicious.
They were lapping it up. And I never go on the grill.
Make it up, or you saw a recipe?
I saw a recipe.
Okay, so share the link while we're,
Okay. I have to find it now, of course.
That's so exciting. I love getting easy recipes. That one's super
easy. Oh my God,
because
it's what I would normally do. And then I'm like, oh, brown sugar? And you know what? I have to say, I'm not sure I followed the recipe exactly, because I think it also called for some soy sauce, which I did not put in.
Okay, so use at your own discretion. But I think you and I have talked about this, the New York Times recipes. If you look at the comments, they say this recipe is amazing. I changed this for this and this for this and this for this. It's
true. So true.
Okay.
But it was so good. And for some reason, I nailed it on the grill.
Excellent.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Okay. So this was Stephanie's idea for topics. I feel like I live my life not quite understanding the joke that someone makes. Actually, let me rephrase that. I live my life not quite understand. There's no I think. I live my life where everyone in my family's cracking up, and I have to say to somebody, can you tell me what's funny there? Mm-hmm. So I get this also. I think I'm too concrete. And so when people have metaphors and writing and life, I'm always kind of like, what does that mean? But then, of course, when Stephanie mentioned the topic and I thought it was so great, I couldn't think of any. So I had to use the Google a lot for this. But Steph, what are yours? Start with one.
So there's a few I feel like people use all the time, and they might go back to, I never looked them up to see the origin of them, but 2 came to mind. I'll give you my first one. So the first one, I'll be describing them. People say, well, life's a stage. What does that mean? Life's a stage. I have to look it up. I don't know if that was is that a Barnum Bailey, a circus kind of reference? I should have taken the time to look it up, but I'm like, I don't know what it means. If somebody maybe who's listening can tell us, like, life's a stage, like there might be more to it, something about players or something like that. But people often just use the first piece of it. So life's a stage. So does that mean what does I don't even know what it means. But I've heard it a billion times. And people are like, life's a stage. I'm like preparing you for something.
I don't know. I've heard it used. I would never use it because I would
never use it because I don't know what it means.
I would write it or say it and then go, I don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
Life's a stage.
Life's a stage. We've all heard it. It's simple, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And what
idea.
does it mean? Okay. So maybe we'll find out afterwards and be able to figure this one out.
That was my first one. What do you have?
So my first one is one that people say all the time. And it always, I know what it means, but I think it's not okay to say.
Okay.
Everything will work out.
Oh.
And here's the rest of it. Sometimes people say in the end, everything will work out. And if it hasn't worked out, it's not the end. And I'm like, just everybody you know and everything you do, at the end of it, you say it worked out. Now, if you are somebody who takes failure and things not working out in stride and you respond to it to make it better, you might look back and say, well, that horrible thing was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it catapulted me into something much better or more self-awareness or whatever else it is. But that is only looking backwards. That is not when someone is going through something and they're nervous and people say like, oh, I've been there. It all works out. Not for everyone. Not for everyone.
No. And we've taught, it skates right up next to like, we've had this conversation so many times where like you just want to be validated or you want to be heard and you want to be seen, and the person who looks at you like when you you've like hard on the table, right? You're like you vomited everything going on, and they're like, it's like.
So the lack of well, sometimes you just don't really understand it, and then you can't really ask a question because it's like you were supposed to get teary at the moment with them and be all in with them. So, but I mean, like we've had parents and experts and just so many people say, don't get caught up in it. It always works out.
Okay, thanks.
As
I go stick a fondue fork in my eye. Okay, here's my next one. You totally heard this. You totally know what it means, but I have no idea why. Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody and like, oh, does she? Wait, have you seen her? What does she look like? Oh my God, she works out all the time. She's like fit as a fiddle.
What does that mean?
But you know what it means. It means she's really fit, but.
Oh yeah, well we know what all of those little euphemisms are, but what is
fiddle fit?
Metaphors, whatever they're called. Yeah, what is a fiddle must be fit? I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. So here's mine. Well, I'll do a few because they're not even interesting to talk about, but gets my goat, barking up the wrong tree. Mm-hmm. Apple of my eye. What is that?
Oh, that's another dumb one. Yep.
Like, I don't get what any of those things mean. We all know when they are used and what the person means by it. But why? Apple of my eye?
Yeah. Or how about that? Okay, here's another one.
Yeah.
You know what it means. It looks like something the cat dragged in.
Oh.
Now.
Like a mouse, like a dead mouse.
Maybe. Yeah, that's right. Because cats do
I'm gonna go with that.
Those presents or whatever.
Yeah. Like when someone looks so disheveled, like a dead mouse.
Remember mouse?
Mousey. I don't know. Stephanie doesn't know what the word mousey means. I always think that that's clearer, but it's not nice. So we don't use the Okay. So I heard this one this morning from somebody.
Okay.
They spelled me.
I don't even know what that means.
It means like if you want to take a break at work or you want to go to the bathroom, you say, can you spell me? Like cover for me.
S-P-E-L-L?
I guess. You've never heard of it either?
Me
Never. Either. Okay, help us out, guys. Have you ever heard of any of the things we're saying, and do any of them make more sense to you? Do you have another one?
No, those were my three.
Okay,
I could come up with a billion, but those were the ones like I feel like are used all the time.
Okay, so I don't. Maybe I just said this one. Spill the tea. Did I just say that one?
Oh no, but I feel like that's what the kids always like. What's the tea? That's like what kids are saying.
I know, but where did it
I did
come
look
from?
that up recently because I was trying to figure that one out.
Oh, okay.
Maybe,
So
maybe that's where I came up with the topic. That's funny.
yeah.
And yeah, it had something to do with like discussing things, like how people used to discuss them over a cup of tea. So just like what's the tea is like short for
Oh, so it
what's
just
going on right
graduated.
now.
So it
Mhm.
graduated from like
Yeah,
over
what's the
tea
tea?
to let's have some tea to let's spill the tea.
Yeah,
Okay.
or what's the tea? Oh, let me give you the tea.
Oh, was that a thing? Like the
That's the
logo?
thing now. Like the kids will say, "Oh yeah, so I'll tell you what the tea is at work."
All right. Well, I have to be honest. Most of my life is spent going, where did that come from? That's
Yeah.
so like, and also, I did this like writing class at NYU when we lived in New York. It was like adult ed,
Mm.
and the teacher talked about expressions that people misuse, which I thought was so like.
That's
So
funny.
it's a dog eat dog
Oh,
world.
yeah.
Like I guess people often say doggy dog.
Yeah,
Like
it's a doggy dog. Uh-huh.
doggy dog. So like
Doggy dog.
like maybe a generation from now, people are going to just be writing doggy dog and say, what where'd that come from? Doggy
Yeah,
dog?
doggy
And
dog.
then
It's totally true.
yeah, and the other one was that I remember was euthanasia, like youth
Youth
in
in Asia.
Asia.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. Oh my
Anyway,
God.
all right. Well, we hope. Do you have anything else before
No,
I?
I think that's all I got. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, yeah. Do you do like okay? Let's take Father's Day for 1 second.
Hmm.
In my house, Dan just announced that the kids don't send him anything, but they do for Mother's Day. I don't remember that. I think they love him just as much as me, and I think they sent him something, but I don't
Oh,
know.
he's announcing that last year he didn't get stuff?
Like ever. That
Like
Mother's Day is
ever.
like
Okay.
Mother's Day is a much bigger thing for my kids than Father's Day. I don't know if that's true. Oh, Jerry says see you on the flip side. Yeah. What well, I guess I don't know. Like
Yeah, that's a good one,
I
Jerry.
don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
that
Thanks,
is a good one. See
Jerry.
you on the flip side. Yeah, on the other side of it, like people, yeah, that's a good one.
Um
So
who thought of all these? Who thought of apple of my eye? Like
apple of my eye. And
I
it's
don't
often she. Hate to
she's the apple of my eye. Yeah, I don't
He's
know.
not.
And the daughter,
He
it's
is.
usually it's often a daughter
Yep,
story, right?
for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so Father's Day. Do your kids give something to you on Mother's Day and something to Todd on Father's Day?
We do. And it's a day where, like, that person gets to declare what they want to do that day.
Ah,
Like,
like
forced family hike, as my kids would say.
yeah, so I always had a forced family bike ride that
Mm.
actually never turned into a forced family bike ride because somehow, there was buy-in and then there wasn't buy-in. But this year, no one was home, even Dan, but Jacob was home. And he said, on Mother's Day, do you want to take a bike ride with me? And I was like, best Mother's Day present ever.
That's awesome.
Ever.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
Okay. This is like wild hair that needs to be controlled.
Can we just do next Friday? Can we just talk about hair?
Oh, is there enough to say about hair other than, well, yeah. Well,
Ugh.
we could talk about where it is now as opposed to where it used to be on our bodies.
Okay. I'm
No,
out.
no, we're not doing that. Okay, everybody, if you're a dad listening, happy father. If you're a dad and you are parenting anybody or grandparenting anybody or uncling anybody, happy Sunday for you. And for anyone who has the burden of making it special for that person, good luck to you as well.
Best of luck. Report back next week.